Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Forbidden Land podcast, or welcome back if you've watched this podcast before. Um, I have a somewhat put together array of topics, and I'm recording this a week prior. So if something comes up um, between now and next Saturday, in the next 7 days, this episode's going to be really long. Because I'm just going to, if something interesting comes up, I'm going to hit record and then just clip them together, like smack them together. So this could be a very dense episode, or it could be the lightest episode I've ever done. Who knows? So the doc is just like news stories, because I guess that's what I've turned this podcast into. But the first topic is very personal to me as a person, and it's not a news story unless you consider stuff about me to be news. So I talked about a few months ago, I don't remember exactly when, because time just keeps speeding down a highway at the max speed it can go. Never mind, I talked about it 2 months ago. Right after I shaved. So I floated around the idea of retirement, because a lot of YouTubers kept dropping off the face of the earth. And it was really interesting. Like lately, Matt Pat has finished his YouTube reign, and that educational YouTuber Tom something, he stopped making videos, and then so did Seth Everman. And I talked about how maybe I would float around the idea of potentially retiring. Not that I'm a big YouTuber or anything, or I've accomplished anything, but my argument being that I've been doing this for around, coming up on 11 years this year. And, would I continue after this year? Because it's been so long, and I said, unless I see some kind of result or I just get burned out, if anything hits a roadblock along the way, then I would just consider stopping. And I think my criteria was, if I were to like blow up, beyond a reasonable amount, where it's like, okay, now you're just throwing away a golden opportunity, then I won't retire. But if I'm around the same level that I'm at now, and I make it to the end of the year, then I would consider stopping consistent content. Now, to kind of clarify that, when I say consistent content, I mean streaming. So the podcast would keep going. But let me get into like the finer details. Let me kind of structure this statement. So I think I've come to the conclusion that if I don't see a enormous amount of growth, then I would guess the last stream would be on January 1st, 2025. I would do one New Year's stream, and then that's it. Now, would I ever stream again in the future? Yeah, obviously. Forbidden FM will still be live on that channel. So I guess those would be the only streams still going on that channel. Would I make videos still? If I felt like it. A lot of my videos nowadays are gaming. So if I'm not streaming, I'm probably not recording either. So that'd be a little difficult. And I've been uploading Forbidden Land shorts on this channel. I uploaded the first one a few days ago to kind of advertise the next episode, and it didn't work, but I'll keep trying it. But yeah, if I don't meet a certain parameter, then the Dane YouTube channel will simply lie dormant after 2020, after the first of 2025. But Forbidden FM will still live on that channel. Now, could that change? Yeah, it's only April. It's the beginning of April when I'm recording this. Could I change my mind in, let's say, like September or October? Probably. I usually do get a little more hyped up around streaming towards the end of the year. So it is possible I could reverse this decision. But think about it from my perspective. I've been uploading videos or streaming for about 11 years now, on and off for a certain period of that. But, when I was active, I was pretty consistent with it. And, with this current burst of content, I stream on the main channel and I do the podcast for this channel. And I haven't burnt out on it yet. I'm almost kind of shocked that I haven't burnt out yet on the podcast. As you know, before July of last year, my podcast schedule was like one or two every few months. I think I changed the name of the podcast and then just didn't upload anything for about 4 months. And then came back and have done it weekly every week with the exception of one because I was sick. So, now it's so consistent that it's every Saturday at some time in the morning, with Forbidden FM specifically being earlier in the morning because it's supposed to be like a morning radio show that you like listen to on the way to work or something. So, I'm kind of surprised I haven't gotten burned down on the podcast yet, but I will continue the podcast for as long as I feel like it. In my plans, I pretty much was like, well, I would maybe stop streaming, but I still want to have an outlet to talk about whatever was going on during the week. So I would probably continue with this. And, with all the equipment that I have, why wouldn't I? The one thing that stopped me from getting an Elgato, like extension card, was that I didn't want to like commit to streaming gear and then immediately abandon it. That's why I didn't commit to buying a Stream Deck, the both Elgato products, the Elgato capture card that goes into the PCIe slot. That's why I didn't commit to any of that stuff. So, it's I just lost my train of thought. Oh, it's like an on and off thing for me. I thought I was going to quit sooner. So I didn't buy any of that stuff. But then, now I'm like, well, it could be worth it. But then if I'm saying I'm going to quit at the end of the year, is it really all that worth it? I don't know. I remember a time when I had considered myself basically done a long time ago. Hence why I'm still using the same mic, no interface, no XLR interface or little, Go XLR little fader board. Those wildly expensive consoles that seem really tacky and cheap from my perspective. That's why I'm still using this shitty old Blue Yeti mic that is now 7 years old. I just found out this thing turned 7 like last week or something like that, or like a couple weeks ago. That's why I'm still using the same mic arm I bought 4 years ago. The same camera I've had for 4.5 years. So if that doesn't show you where my brain is at with this stuff, but I do enjoy streaming to some extent. One thing I've always enjoyed is the little oddities that I have on the stream, like this guy. How I have this like weird side cam with a monkey. I've heard a lot of people think this is a picture or a video. It is not a picture or a video. It is a live camera feed. I have 2 cameras running, pretty much at all times while I'm streaming or recording this podcast. Here, I just realized you can't tell if I was actually waving my hand in front of it or not. So, it's little gimmicks like this where I'm like, that's why I enjoy streaming, because I get to do dumb stuff like this, where I have a live camera feed of a plush monkey that's sitting on my shelf. Like, you know, and I enjoy switching and all that. I used to be in a film class in high school, and we had giant switchboards and like multi-camera setups for talk shows and whatnot. And I used to direct one of those shows, and I used to sit with the what would we have called him? I guess the assistant director, but he was like the live switcher. So he would switch while we were filming. And then you know, I've always been interested in this stuff. So as far as we're aware right now, I'm going to stop making consistent streaming content after January 1st, 2025. Will I still make videos? Maybe. Ooh. Damn. Maybe. I need to be more careful with this watch. Will I still do the podcast? Yes. At least through the rest of 2025. Same thing, honestly. I feel like after 2025, it'll be up in the air if I still do this. 2026, maybe. 2027 will be the 10th anniversary of this podcast. If I'm still doing it by then like, God bless me. And, you know, maybe my attitude will change towards retirement if I, you know, collab with other people. If our plan to move in with friends of ours goes through, one of those friends is a fellow content creator. So, you know, maybe we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But for right now, January 1st, 2025, final stream, more than likely. That's it. So, you know, I've always thought about what type of videos I want to make outside of the streaming. And, you know, like, I'm such a tech-oriented guy. I've thought about making videos about, like, virtual machine stuff and emulation stuff. Maybe not emulation stuff anymore, just because of the Nintendo Citra Yuzu situation. Maybe because of that, I would maybe steer away from, you know, the whole emulation thing. But I've always thought about, like, oh, what if I made, you know, virtual machine content, or if I made tech content in general, like how to build a computer or how to troubleshoot this or just something like that. But primarily right now, I just make gaming videos. And I've noticed in the last couple months. So here's my thing with blowing up. I don't want it to be a thing where I get big because of this recent mod pack playthrough. If the recent mod pack playthrough is what gets me big and my audience ends up being majority children, that will drive me to quit faster than any dead channel would. I do not want a child audience. I don't want to be the person who says fuck in a video and then I have a bunch of angry moms sending me emails going, you are a child, you're a family-friendly YouTuber and you're cussing in your videos while my child watches. Sorry, lady, that's your problem for not monitoring what content your 7-year-old watches on YouTube. Not my fault. When I was a kid, when I was around 8 or 9, I used to watch a guy named Forest Fire Films, or I think he's like Forest Films 101 or something right now. But I think he goes by Forest Fire Films. Creator of the Duck Song. This was way before the Duck Song. He makes Lego stop motion. And back then he had a lot of Lego stop motion Batman stuff. And I had like a ton of Batman Legos. I was super into Batman. Loved Batman. And so on YouTube I look up Lego Batman videos. Duh, who wouldn't? Those videos are not for children. They may be centered around a children's toy, even though there are adult versions of those Legos even back then. One's meant for teenagers at least. Despite them being about that toy, This man did not hold back. I mean, he was like, there's a moment where I remember distinctly the character Heath Ledger Joker in one of the videos like tells, or no, it might be the Mark Hamill Joker tells Heath Ledger Joker to shut the fuck up, like verbatim. That's what he tells him, and my dad could hear it through the one like left ear earbud that I had in, and he was walking by and he heard it and he was like, "Let me hear that again," and he made me rewind it. He listened to it and he's like, "Shut that off right now. You don't need to be watching that." Perfect example. In 2010 or 11, of a parent monitoring their child's internet access. A Gen X parent telling a Gen Z child to not watch inappropriate YouTube videos. Wild concept for parents nowadays. The millennial parents and their Gen Alpha children, wild concept to them. Not to turn this into a rant about them, because I don't want to get doxxed, but the fact that a product exists where you can have a case for an iPad that has a handle on it so a child can walk around with it and even drop it and the iPad's safe. We're cooked until my generation has children. We're cooked. My kid will be sitting in the same position I am, if he wants to do a podcast, on a mic, saying the exact same thing in like 30 years. Complaining about the exact same topic. Gen Alpha's children are out of control. I watched this Gen Alpha parent give their 4-year-old child their own holodeck. What is going on? So, to loop back around to what I was originally talking about, I don't like the idea of children watching my streams, my Minecraft modded streams, because I'm cussing, I'm making inappropriate jokes, I'm being myself. I am being a chill Minecraft streamer, but, you know, if these kids want to watch a Minecraft streamer, go watch one of those Minecrafters that's like, "What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be checking out this mod for this mod showcase." You know, people like Ant Venom and Captain Sparkles are not really meant for children anymore. So those guys also shouldn't really have children in their audience. Go watch one of those YouTubers that's super upbeat and lively. Don't watch me. I specifically make the stream a little bit more like downbeat, and I specifically make sure it's a little adult oriented where I'm like still swearing, I'm not censoring myself, because I don't want kids to watch. I even tell YouTube it's not meant for children. And yet there are people with YouTube channels that are only available on the YouTube Kids app that are subbed to me now because of these streams. I think I've gained like 40 subscribers throughout these this last week and a half, and like I appreciate it. I love it. I love growth. I'm over 700 subs now. Crazy milestone to hit this late in the game. But I don't want most of my audience to be children. You know, I just don't want that. Because, you know, I open the chat and I go and look, like after the stream is done, I go and look at these channels because I want to know who my audience is. Who's chatting in the chat? You know, who's speaking to me right now? Because sometimes I'm curious. Some of the things these people say in chat are so unbelievably kid-coded, like very clearly, and some dumbass kid said it. Where I actually had to ban one last week because my friend came into the chat and made an inappropriate joke, and the kid immediately took it and like ran with it. He said something about like coming, and the kid was like, "I'm coming right now. I'm watching you hit that spider. It's making me come." And I was like, no. We're not doing that here. I only let my friend do it because he's my friend. You're a child. And I banned him. I banned him from the chat. So, I check out some of these channels, and if they have videos, I click them because I'm like, is this an adult? Some of them have been adults. There's a game developer that is actually in the Discord. he like develops something for like a fan project for Plants vs Zombies, and I subbed to him because of it. It was pretty cool. But he seems to be around my age, and you know, he seems like a cool guy. But then there's other ones where it's like some kid being like, "Hey guys," and he's like filming the screen playing Minecraft, really old school style, as if screen recorders aren't widely available nowadays. Unlike back then, I had to have like Hypercam 3 or some shit, or Bandicam to record my videos. But it's this kid being like, "Hey guys, today we're gonna be blah 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 blah," and you can like barely hear him over their airplane ass computer, and it's just, you know, I'm like, I don't want that to be my audience primarily. It's fine. I'm sure, out of my control, I'm sure kids will stumble upon the channel to some extent, but I don't want that to be most of the people on the channel. I think this latest episode of the modded series is the most popular. Oh, it's tied with episode 3. Episode 9 is the most popular right now. But like, some of my videos are popping off a little bit. The Minecraft tour got 500 views. The Apex clip from the stream got almost 600 views. So it actually outperformed a Minecraft video, but it was more like a slow burner. But if I see meteoric rise from children on the main channel from the modded series, it's not what's going to save the channel. Like, it's not going to keep me making content. If I see more of a rise through Apex Legends or more mature games like that, or just through like my normal content, and I can tell it's like teenagers or adults, fine. Anyone under the age of 13, I don't want them watching. Like, I don't recommend it. I don't think they should be. I think parents should be monitoring. Which, ironic that I'm saying that, because I made YouTube videos at the age of 12 and the age of 11. But take that as like a lesson. Take that as a lesson of, you know, I was a child and I'm an adult now. I know better. If I even said on stream today, I said if I could go back, I would have never done a face reveal. Think about that. If I could go back in time, I would have never shown my face. The only reason I do it now is because I've already done it. It's already out there. It's already everywhere. And it'd be impossible to undo it now. And I've even tailored the room around me knowing I'm going to be on camera. Like, those Christmas lights are only on for recording and streaming, pretty much. I don't usually turn them on because they're too hot. They heat the room up, like, horribly. The TV running in the background, I really only, well, no, I kind of do it for me too, but I mainly do it for the camera. The one back there that's always on, that's for me. That one's always on. It shows the time, it shows the temperature. There's a reason I have it on. So, anyway, go check out the mod pack series. I gotta update the website anyways, because I took a mod out that was causing immense server lag. So it was like pumping. Tell me about this, Fabric mod developers and Minecraft coders and whatnot. This mod called Villager Guards, or like Guarded Villagers or something like that, Guard Villagers, was throwing errors out like 50 times a second. And I'm not exaggerating that. 50 times a second, it seemed like. Honestly, probably more than that. I would not be surprised if it was more than that. It could be 200 times a second. It was going so fast, I could not keep up. And it was using like a gig of the server's memory. So I took it out. It kept saying like, mob isn't blacklisted, but then I tried to change the values in the config to reverse that, and it wasn't doing it. So I want to hear about that. My theory is that the guy who made the Fabric version of the mod just copy and pasted the Forge version and tweaked it to be compatible with Fabric. I don't think he actually did any extra work to it. because it kind of seemed the error that it's throwing out is tagged with the name of the guy who made the original mod for Forge in NeoForge. So I don't think this guy did enough work to bring it over to Fabric. And there's been no updates to the mod since February. If he updates it, I'll re-download it. Even though all the guard villagers are probably dead now, I think it said in the console it replaced all the mobs with just nothing. Like, it was just like telling me entity here is being pretty much deleted from the world. So I think all those villagers that were guards are just gone. But and I don't think they're gonna respawn. But I want to hear what the developers think in the comments. While I'm still on Minecraft, let's talk about this. The April Fool's update, or snapshot. This needs to be a feature in the game. If this isn't a feature in the game, I'm going to riot. This needs to be added to the game. It's called a floater block. Sorry, hold on. The Reddit player is busted to shit. I forgot. How dare I try to play a fucking video? Anyone else notice that? The Reddit player just being busted? See if it works. Yeah, of course it works. So it's just a Chrome thing. It's called a floater block. You attach it to something, and then I don't know if it requires this many, but I assume it does since the guy is adding this many. It should be added to the game. It's basically blocks that make things float. This guy basically built a working end ship in the end. And now he's sailing across the end islands. That is crazy. If you watch the Modpack series, you'll notice there's actually a mod in it that does this, called Create. I've seen some people, some of the more hardcore Minecraft fans that are big babies and bitches that I don't think Mojang should listen to. I've seen them argue that this is too, what's the term? Like, this is too outside the realms of what Minecraft is. Look at that. Isn't that sick? And it's got my favorite Minecraft song on it. I've seen some of the more hardcore OG Minecraft players argue against this. Shut the fuck up. Please shut the fuck up. That is one of the best things Mojang could add to the game in years. More revolutionary than horses. More revolutionary than the Elytra and the End Cities. More revolutionary than the fucking Ender Dragon. Then Redstone. Add the floater block, and you will literally revive a huge chunk of the player base. It's ridiculous that they haven't added a block like that, but they'll code one and add it to a snapshot for April Fools. We better get that fucking feature. Y'all remember April Fools 2014, I think it was, when everyone was a villager? Y'all remember that? I only got to briefly play that update because I think I was grounded when it came out. I had to like take my mom's MacBook and open Minecraft on it and play for a little bit, which it used to run so good on my mom's MacBook versus my computer. All right, next up, let's move on. It seems that Mark Zuckerberg is now the wealthiest person past Elon Musk. Seems that he's now the third richest in the world. Which, L, go fuck yourself, L. I think it's pretty funny. I can't wait to see him seethe and cope on Twitter. You know it's gonna happen. It's all he ever does on Twitter is bitch and whine about his ego cracking. It's all he ever does. I assume it has something to do with his stocks. It says here it does. It has something to do with Tesla announcing they were canceling a car project, a budget car, basically a budget Tesla car. They just canceled uh the project, and I guess the shares dipped. So yeah, now Mark Zuckerberg is richer than Elon Musk for the first time in 4 years. Speaking of Facebook, because this isn't a Facebook jerk off fest, um, yeah, Facebook sold private messages to Netflix for $100 million. I don't have an article for this. I did read the article though. It's on that cultural news or culture news uh, Twitter account that does like all the superhero movie updates and all that. Culture Crave, that's what it is. That was on Dexterito. It was on one of the two Twitter news sites. Um, yeah, it seems that Meta allegedly sold 100 million dollars. That's how much your private data is worth, apparently. Sold to Netflix a bunch of private messages for $100 million. I don't know what to say to you. Uh, that's fucked. I don't understand. Like, you remember in 2009 ish, like around that time period, when Viacom was suing Google, or YouTube, but Google being the parent company, and they basically demanded the court tell YouTube to hand over like almost everyone's private Google information, like their email addresses, their emails, all that stuff. And Google was like, no. What happened to that? Now Google will easily sell your data away for a pretty penny. I'm sure they've sold your data to Viacom at some point, because Viacom, since like 2017, has had a working business relationship with Google. And, now by extension, they're part of CBS. So it seems pretty clear that they've probably sold your data to one of those companies, because those companies run ads. Where do you think all those targeted ads come from? You ever notice that if you type in Paramount plus.com or whatever the URL is on Firefox and you're not logged into anything, that if you open Google, like half your targeted ads are Paramount ads or some kind of Viacom or CBS property? Have you not noticed that? That's how quickly they sell your data. So, and vice versa. So, it's weird, the tide shift. If you ever wonder how these tech companies make money, it's probably because they're selling your data. And this is I sound like a crazy quack when I say it, because I have a certain cadence when I'm talking about it, where I sound like I'm like, and they're gonna sell your data, and I sound like I'm nuts. No, this is like a recorded thing. There's so much evidence to back this up. It's like a very well known thing that companies sell your data to data brokers. Data brokers then sell your data to companies that are willing to buy it. And usually those companies are marketing agencies, or in some cases, government agencies, meaning they are completely surpassing the or usurping the warrant amendment, the right to not be searched or seized. Pretty much, they're bypassing that by just buying your data, because they're not like actively breaking into your home and searching it. I don't know how that fits into some kind of gray area. I feel like that should definitely be um, maybe ruled on, maybe outlawed, maybe become some kind of law, or an amendment. Maybe we do a revision to that amendment to include data purchasing. I think that's fair. That's private data that you trust with these companies. And to be fair, in all their TOSs, they all say, we're going to sell your fucking data if you agree to this. Unless you opt out of the cookies, which, like, we're still going to sell whatever data we can scrape off of you. Your IP address. If we just sell that to somebody, they can then put a tracker on it and just find what websites you go to. So. Exhausting. Um, I'm going to talk about this retro game emulator, and then I'm going to move on to a topic that I find really cool. But the retro game emulator is also really interesting because it involves Apple. If you remember, like 10 years ago when you were a kid, all those YouTube videos you'd get about how to jailbreak your iPhone. So I'm sure you remember that some of the most popular jailbreaking apps were game emulators, like Game Boy and stuff like that. I'm thirsty. Been talking for too long, and I might go on a little late night walk. But back then, you'd get like Cydia, you'd download like an emulator on there, or you'd get like a screen recording app because iOS didn't have that at the time. And now it seems that you can now have a game emulator on your phone through the App Store. Like, Apple is sanctioning this. Now, the picture they show is Pokemon. I don't know. I haven't read the developer page in like full detail yet. I've skimmed it. If you can emulate Nintendo games, what is Nintendo gonna do to Apple? Like, think about it. Someone, uploads like Sidra to the App Store. Is Apple liable if people then start pirating? Sorry, not pirating. Start putting software onto that emulator that just so happens to be like a rip of one of their games from a specific console. Can Nintendo sue Apple? Do they sue the app developer? How does that work? Because this Game Boy thing, that's a little worrying that, this is what their example is for this article, because it implies, I mean, that's Nintendo right there, So that kind of implies that Nintendo might start being litigious about this. Expensive words. I just think it's interesting. Will I do it? Maybe. I have an iPad right here, and I play Jetpack Joyride on it. I mean, that, and like I check on our internet status anytime it breaks or has something wrong with it. Like, look, here, I'll show you right now. Got Jetpack Joyride on this bitch. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Like, he's in a bunny suit for the Easter event, a holiday that was last week. Isn't this awesome? That's what I do on this thing. I just play Jetpack Joyride. Yeah, that's what I do. I have the teddy bear jetpack. I've been watching ads like a motherfucker just so I can get stuff on the game. Back then I was so stubborn about it. I just refused, so I had like nothing on there. Did you watch ads? It's like the freest way to just get unlimited shit. Also, I love the second picture on this tweet. Just the giant ass Apple logo in full HD. Also, one thing you'll probably notice whenever I transition to the screen is that I kind of just switch between like, hold on, I'm trying to go to a website so I can show it. I keep switching between this one and this one. And I'm doing that because I'm just trying to get like a feel for both of them. This one is the one I use all the time, and this one's the new one. And I'm thinking about switching to the watercolor transition instead of this one. I feel like I've overused. I feel like this one's had its welcome. It's had its stay, and I feel like it's time to switch to this one. So I might be rolling that out soon as like the official global transition for the scene. I just, I feel like it's time for a bit of stuff to change. Like, lately I don't show the logo in the corner anymore so I can get cleaner thumbnails. I started adding the, side cam to all my display shots so that way it actually serves a purpose for being on during this. Because I mean it's always been on during the podcast. It's just I've never had a reason to really cut to it, and whenever I cut to John during the live episodes or during the guest episodes with him, his camera from Discord is over the side cam, like it's displaying over it. So like this camera is on under it, but it's just not showing. So I've tried to show more of it in the display, but I might switch over to the watercolor transition soon. Anyways, let's move on to my last topic for this episode, or this portion of the episode. We don't know yet. We don't know. If this is the last portion of the episode, this is going to be a short episode because I don't know what I can even say about this other than this is kind of creepy. So this guy went to China supposedly in 2020. I think it was in 2020 from what he said somewhere. Don't take my word on that one, but it was long enough ago where he doesn't have to worry about retaliation from the Chinese government or the North Korean government. So this man decided he was going to fly a drone into North Korea. Let me tell you, this city that he's like showing a picture of, or pictures of, creepy as hell. Here, I gotta pull it up in Firefox. Apparently, an image loads at like dial-up speeds now, which is insane. So, here, I'll just zoom in and I'll scroll through them like in the classic way. So let me show these. Oh, that's the wrong scene. Let me show this. So this guy flies a drone into North Korea. Do these pictures not look super fake? Like, look at how uncanny North Korea looks. Is that not like the creepiest thing you've ever seen? Like, why would you want to be the dictator? It looks like a painting. Why would you want to be the leader, the unchallenged dictatorish leader? What is the term? I don't know. Authoritarian leader of such a shit show like this. Why? What do you get out of that? Having power over what? Dog shit architecture and like ass looking buildings that clearly have not been updated since the Korean War? I just don't get it. Water bottle didn't go far enough. That's the first photo. They just keep getting creepier. Like, here's another photo of the city, and my theory is that a lot of these photos are of, like, the reason why this city looks like this is because it's a border city. Beyond the smog, I don't think there's much. I mean, we have what we know from Google Images, from the satellite data, but, like, I don't think there's anything beyond this point, really. Like, it might go out a little farther for the slightly less smoggy days, but I don't think there's much beyond this border city. I feel like it looks like this for a reason. It's because it's what you can see from China. And the people in China that see it go, oh yeah. Or, the idiots in China go, oh yeah, that looks like a really well-developed, well-standing, good country. Obviously, the people with brains outside of North Korea, like a lot of the people in China, people with brains see that and they go, something's off. And also, I know North Korea is a shithole. Something's off. Like, I think most people at this point... One thing I have learned, there's a lot of propaganda about North Korea that is just, like, unsubstantiated claims that we all believe because it's North Korea. There's some true stuff about North Korea. There's other things where it's like that one lady that went on Joe Rogan who was like, Yeah, they I don't even remember the meme. It was so long ago. But she's that author that's just like says insane shit about North Korea. In North Korea, they tie you to a pole and make you eat like a dog. It's like, what are you talking about? My assumption is that they just brainwash you in education um, settings with like North Korean propaganda and hatred towards literally any country that they're not allied with. And then you either go to the military or you're assigned a job. I assume that's how it works. Um, that just sounds like a classic authoritarian country. But of course, the press here and a lot of the white liberals have like kind of turned North Korea into this weird like boogeyman country that's like beyond our understanding. They're doing like alien type authoritarian shit, and it's like not really. I mean, they're just like a textbook authoritarian country. It's no different from any other authoritarian country. That's the second photo. So now you start to notice in some of these photos that these people can see the drone. Oh, fuck that shit. I'm just going to do this. People can see the drone. Imagine being these guys. Do you think they even know what a drone is? Probably not, right? I would assume they don't really sell drones in North Korea. So I feel like if I was these guys, I would reasonably be like, oh my god, they're about to fucking kill us. Unless they know what a drone is. I don't know. This guy didn't care. Nobody really notices in this photo. But it's just like so weird to see this. And you can tell it's in the pandemic too. They're all wearing masks. Another really uncanny photo of the city. I don't know if it's just because it's far away or what, but it's just like this is so weird looking. All of it looks just so artificial. Look, all the cars and trucks and everything are old as shit. That's pretty interesting. Little snapshot of time. Look at that thing. That's crazy. That kind of looks like a bridge back there going over something. I assume all this smog comes from China and some from South Korea. I know South Korea is super smoggy and so is China. I would assume a country sandwiched in between the two would have this kind of smog. But it's just so wild looking. Look at that little field, soccer field maybe. I mean, it is a soccer field, but whether or not it's used, I don't know. Pretty empty roads. Some people parked places. I mean, it just looks off. It looks desolate. It looks a little creepy. I want to know what some of these buildings are. You know, some of them just look abandoned. Like this one looks abandoned. Looks like an average coastal city in Florida. This, if I showed you this and this, you'd go, yeah, this looks like I don't know, Destin, Florida, Fort Myers, Florida. I mean, I feel like most people would think that's what this is a picture of Florida. One thing you'll notice is it doesn't really look like they have any traffic lights. It looks like there's just a crossing guard. Yeah, this just looks like a coastal city in Florida. That's crazy. Oh my god. Someone said if this random dude with a drone from a store can this easily spy on North Korea, imagine the intel the US has. That's what I mean. Everyone's like, the moment you even think about the thought of putting a toe in North Korea, they immediately have you in custody and then kill you 6 months later. It's like, I would assume it's a little more, you know, it's a little bit more like a normal authoritarian country, not, But it also seems like they don't have very good security on some of their borders. They might be a little bit more lax on the Chinese border because they're somewhat allied with the Chinese. The Chinese government extradites people to them sometimes and cooperates with them in a lot of matters. So I would assume maybe their security is a little more lax on that side, a little bit more extreme on the South Korean side for pretty obvious reasons. So I'm not surprised this guy got a drone in there. That guy's probably right, though. I mean, I'm sure the U.S. probably has some crazy intel on them. God, I wish they could just tell us, but I know that would jeopardize our national security to some extent. God, that'd be so sick, though. They're like, we found out Kim Jong-un had a gay phase. I'm moving. He sounds sick as hell. He'd love Kim Jong-un would love an American gay bar. Anyways, that's the end of this segment or this episode. I don't know yet. Also, new haircut. I got a haircut. I cut it really short. Thanks for noticing. Stop. You noticed? You like it? All right. Thanks for watching or listening. Or if I recorded more after this, stay tuned. Bye-bye. Hello, welcome to the second half of the Forbidden Land podcast, episode 57, I think is what it was. Apparently what I talked about last time was some real boring ass shit. At least compared to this week, because the biggest news happened 2 hours ago. OJ Simpson is dead. Now, there's something a little complicated about the OJ Simpson death and that whole case. The thing that's complicated about it is that on one hand, I gotta turn off autofocus. On one hand, he more than likely murdered his ex-wife and her boyfriend. Let's be real. But on the other hand, his verdict is pretty much a direct result of the Rodney King situation with the LAPD. So, sorry, it was making a noise. So now it's, do I celebrate or do I keep it to myself? So yeah, OJ Simpson's dead. I believe he died of cancer. Yeah, it says he had cancer. Why do they never say the type? What type of cancer did he have? This is just about his life. Seriously? Nothing? Why do they always do this? What kind of cancer did OJ Simpson have? Also, damn, bro was like going on like podcasts and radio shows up until a couple months ago. Tell me that dude was also dealing with cancer? That's kind of insane. Anyways, I don't really have much to say about it. I'm too young to really give a fuck about OJ Simpson, so let's move on. God, I'm trying to think of something interesting. I have stuff on the dock that I instantly lost interest in. I'll talk about this one thing and then we'll move on to this thread that I want to go through. So I started making a Minecraft mod. And I want to show a little sneak peek of it. It's nothing crazy, but I want to show I've rendered out 4 development builds of it. The 4th one being one I could actually release, but I probably won't yet. But so far I've added 5 music discs, 3 of which are C418 songs from the soundtrack, and 2 of which are my own music. and then I've added a new material, armor, tools to go with it, and crafting recipes. So, and also a new painting. And so I'll show the painting to kind of give you an idea of what this mod is about. Here's the painting. So, so yeah, this whole mod is pretty much centered around the character of Yude, my little bear character. And so, yeah, I'm gonna be kind of making everything themed after him. So, like, all the armor and tools and stuff are named after him. Sorry, my curtain came undone. Sure, why? Weird. Okay. Might be the storm that's happening outside. Holy shit, I'm blown out. God. So, yeah, that's my little mod update. Now to get on to the real topics, the real man topics, the real stuff that y'all all want to know about. I'm a little too bright. Oh, and this is my partner over here. They're helping me with the episode today. They're an intern at Dane's Music Collection. So we'd like to welcome them. They're joining me and my longtime employee, the monkey plush that I keep on the shelf. So we have 2 employees now. One of the 2 is an intern, this one. So that's why they're in the background. So let's move on to this thread. I want to go through this thread. So in the last couple weeks, I have cringed, as well as many of you probably have too. Omega cringed at the whole Jojo Siwa stuff that's been happening. Her new song, which, look, I gotta be real. It's very obvious she's stunted in her emotional growth, and that at the age of 20, she's now going through her angsty teenage phase. That, or it's marketing. And if that's the case, you need to fire that marketing team. That is the worst marketing I've ever seen. So, even though it's like kind of working, I think it's going to be short-term payoffs instead of long-term. So, here's a thread that someone put together on all of Jojo Siwa's controversies. I did not know there were this many. And I'm going to be talking about all the ones I genuinely give a little bit of a fuck about. So, alright, here we are. I love that this person's bio is autistic 16-year-old. So they said, why you shouldn't support Jojo Siwa. Serious thread, considering some people are confused on why she's hated. So we're gonna, if anything's stupid in this thread, I'm gonna skip it. She's stolen music and proclaimed it as her.
That's my best friend, not Jojo. Emmeline, who wrote and is singing on that song, which I think it's so funny that Jojo's just like lip syncing. Like, what? Emmeline, you slayed.
Interesting.
Just really quick. See, if you go to this page, to this post.
We get the point. She stole music, she played it at a show and tried to pass it off as her own music. Alright, moving on. This one. This is what I saw. This is what made me document the thread. As I saw this one. This one's crazy. This one's nuts. Like, please, who on her social media team allowed this to happen? Who? This is crazy. During this time, this was during the George Floyd protests, and at the time there was a thing where everyone posted a black square on their Instagram. Was it stupid? Yeah, because it drowned out all the actual information about what was happening during the situation. Because it flooded the hashtag with just black boxes. But, you know, a lot of people took it seriously. And she decided she was going to put her logo over the black box instead of just leaving it as a black box. Which is crazy, dude. That's like narcissism to the max. That had to have been her team. There's no way that was her. I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe she is just like that. I have to give her somewhat of a pass because she was 16 when this was posted. So I have to give her somewhat of a pass, being a child and all. So, yeah, surrounds herself with James Charles, Colleen Ballinger, and Shane Dawson. I don't know about the Shane Dawson thing still. But definitely I know she mentioned and defended Colleen Ballinger on Howie's podcast, and I know she's appeared in videos with James Charles in the last couple of years. James Charles being a notorious guy who loves talking to children. Anyways. Something about... Oh, yeah. Reminder that I don't know much about this one. But I will say I know that she said she doesn't like the word lesbian. So
I don't like the word itself. I don't like the word itself. It's just like lesbian. It's just like a lot. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's what I am. So it's like, it just is, it's like the word moist. It's just like, ugh.
This one's just kind of like weird. I'm not going to read that much into that one. It's just like strange. Oh, a more thorough thread. Oh, here we go.
I think it's really, this is the first time that I've talked about this, so I just want to make sure I say my exact piece that I want to say. The internet can take a lie and run so far with it, so far that it's to the point where you just can't do anything about it. And I've had that happen to me. And I...
Look at how... Just speechless. Speechless. Because, not to unpack all the Colleen stuff in like 5 seconds, but I wasn't making this podcast very much during that time. God, I would have talked to death about it though. She had like group chats upon group chats with minors and was like talking inappropriately with minors. Her, what was it, like her brother or something? Someone related to her was like actively chatting with in inappropriate ways with teenagers or something. There's a slew of evidence about this. I think his name is Adam McIntyre, I think is his name, is one of the victims, and he's one of the like main evidence gatherers. So there's a lot of evidence for this one. I'm just saying.
I know Colleen very, very, very well. And I think the work that Colleen has done for the internet is incredible. I think her creativity is incredible. Miranda Sings is a character, is a comedian. And I think that it's very hard to be a character where people are also looking at you as you're a real human behind that character. And I think being a comedian is very hard because you were able to do things years ago that...
I just think it's weird that she's defending Colleen Ballinger, and it's also weird that she brings it up. Like, I don't think a lot of people watch Howie Mandel's podcast before they go on, nor do they know who he's associated with. She just went on Howie Mandel's podcast. Howie Mandel is also friends with like one of the most notoriously outspoken people when it comes to Colleen Ballinger. He's friends with the H3 podcast, which like blew up a third time from the Colleen stuff because they talked about it so much. So did she just not know that wasn't going to go over very well with people? Also, you got to give it to Drama Alert for getting the worst quality footage of all time consistently. What the hell am I looking at here? Look at this. It's in like 480p. The bar on the bottom is like the chapters bar from like the phone player. You couldn't just go and record this yourself or download the podcast and clip it? This is so lazy. Anyways, sorry. It's Drama Alert's always had a half-assed Twitter account. Anyways, let's check out this other thread. Oh, it's all text. Anyways, at the end of the day, she was a child during a lot of this stuff, but also, is that really like a good excuse for all this behavior? I know a lot of her allegations come from when she was on like Dance Moms, and her team were like exploiting children and stuff. Something about a kid was like bleeding and they just didn't care. Yeah. But I think the real crime is her crimes against the gay community. Because the song she released, that Karma song, is a song that she bought off of a company that couldn't sell the song anywhere else. That was one of the things that came out because someone found the original song. And also her claiming I'm the first one to make something called like queer pop or gay pop or something like that. As if Girl in Red hasn't existed for years. She literally used to be the... Is she the pronouns? I don't know. They. I'll say they. I'm not sure. Girl in Red, they've been like one of the top icons of gay pop for years. They literally used to be a part of that meme of, are you a sweater weather girl or a Girl in Red girl? So... And also, it goes even farther back than that. I mean, gay people have been making pop music for decades and decades. So, it's like very tone deaf. And I don't understand what her marketing strategy is. I keep seeing like interviews of her, and I don't get it. Like, why is she saying the things that she says? You know? I don't get it. I think that's a lot of people's reaction, is they don't get it. The only other thing I had on the doc was that J.K. Rowling said she doesn't forgive Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson for their, condemnation of her trans comments. Oh no. Their chances of being in the ninth Harry Potter film gone. Oh no. Ay ay ay. I would like to propose a dilemma. A scenario, if you will. So let's say you have like $150 billion. You're the third richest man on Earth. Now, this is just a hypothetical. You'll never be the richest or the third richest man on Earth. Statistically impossible, unless the world fell into some apocalyptic kind of chaotic situation. But let's say in some hypothetical reality that will never happen, you have $150 billion. Billion with a B. And let's say then You end up dating a pop star, and then after having like 3 kids with him, she breaks up with you. And then you decide to buy a large social media platform. Now, in this hypothetical, what do you do with your 150 billion? Do you A, keep crying on your social media platform about the shit that doesn't matter? And also start tweeting on a burner account about your ex? Or B, do you just start spending your money on whatever you want and you don't care about what other people think? Now, what are the community notes on this? Yeah. So, obviously I have a joke tweet pulled up, but in testimony, Elon Musk has confirmed that he has at least 2 burner accounts on Twitter, or X, or whatever you want to call it, according to a deposition. So, why? I'm sure you all remember that account that they found where Elon was like tweeting, acting like he was a teenager on the site with the profile picture being of his son. So that's why I proposed this hypothetical. And I think that's what I'm going to leave you with today as well, because I want you to think long and hard about it. That's your homework for the weekend. Is I want to know if you had $150 billion, would you do whatever you want? And that could also include donating it. It could also include not donating it. Could include you doing like cruises every day or something. I don't know. Could include you feeding the homeless. Who cares? It's your money. Or do you get offended when someone who has an 8,000th the amount of wealth you have makes fun of you on your website? Do you even buy Twitter in the first place? I guess it all comes back to that. Do you even buy the website in the first place? Because, like, why do you need to own Twitter with that amount of money? I just remember after Grimes posted that she was dating someone new like a few weeks ago, he immediately unfollowed her on Twitter and like followed like Depression with Men kind of like Twitter account. So stupid. So anyways, that's your homework for tonight. Let's figure that out. Stay safe during all the weather. Hope you all enjoyed the eclipse that was on Monday. I guess I'll show the picture I took. Did I ever upload it to the drive? I took a picture of the eclipse through a pair of Eclipse glasses. And then I also uploaded a short of the last eclipse where I recorded a time lapse. Here, I'll show this photo. Pull it up. Open a new window. Here we go. I took this picture of the eclipse. Very nice. And I also uploaded the short on my channel that I wanted to show. This was of the eclipse in 2017. A long time ago. I was in high school when this happened. And it's kind of incredible that I captured footage of it. Yeah, I figured I'd show this. Because I think it's actually pretty sick. So yeah, that was, you should go check that out. That was the last Eclipse that I was able to get footage of. I put the glasses over the lens and filmed that. So. Alright, that's the end of the episode. I have music coming out on the 14th, which should be tomorrow if you're watching this the day this comes out. So I have music coming out on the 14th, and go and listen to that. It's called Gas Station on Proxima Centauri B. It'll be on the main channel as a video. It'll be on streaming services the same day. So, alright. Thanks for watching, and peace.